Thank you, Dave. Our next guest is the Notre Dame Student Body President, Allan Njomo. Allan, welcome to Notre Dame Day. Let's start out with your Notre Dame Day story. Where are you from? And tell us, how did you get to Notre Dame?
Yes, as you can tell from behind me, I have a Texas flag. I live in Texas, but I am originally from Kenya. I moved to the United States in '09. And from there, my Notre Dame journey is, very rough, very weird. But I ended up applying to Notre Dame because I really liked their website and finally visited here sometime in April 2018. Fell in love with the community, and that's when I knew that I had to come here, and somehow everything worked out, and I'm standing here before you.
How fantastic. I'll second that. You were recently elected student body president after serving as president of your dorm, Stamford Hall. So what inspired you to pursue these leadership roles at Notre Dame, and especially to want to lead all of your fellow students?
It all comes back to community. This community has really given me so much, and if I can give back, I always want to. So running for student body president was never in my plan. Neither was running for Stanford Hall president, but somehow the doors opened up. I met the right people who really saw that I could lead. And then from there, really falling back on what my father has always taught me, which is it's always been service. If you can serve your neighbor, serve them. And I remember when we were back in Kenya, if a neighbor didn't have a packet of salt or a packet of sugar or a packet of flour, you always go down and help them out. And so in the very same way, really want to continue that sort of mantra of being in service. And when the opportunity came, I knew that I had to take it. I went forward, ran alongside Matthew Bisner, and the students loved it. And so we're very lucky, very honored to be in this position.
I love that. That whole sense of giving is the Irish way too, Allan. So that's why you fit in right here at home. What kind of initiatives are you planning to institute during your term?
Yeah, we have a lot of plans, and we're lucky, right? First of all, I want to offer my gratitude to Rachel, Sarah, and Aaron, who previously served in this capacity. But we were lucky that we are approaching what we want to call peacetime, the way that COVID is sort of not becoming so much of a factor through vaccinations. And we're very lucky. And so whenever we do approach what we call peacetime, we want to implement student voice summits where we bring together administrators and students, sit, talk about some substantive policy issues we're facing here on campus. From there, I know I have my personal pet project that I really want to work towards creating a subsidy of funds for textbooks, summer classes, and tutoring, especially for first-generation low-income students on campus. So really engaging with the administration towards building those things. And then from there, one of our cool initiatives is what we want to call a youth committee, where we engage with high school students throughout South Bend in order to figure out how do we better meet South Bend where it's at. With COVID, we weren't really meeting the city because we wanted to be safe. We weren't going to the city. Now that COVID's not so much a factor, hopefully in fall 2021, really want to talk about how do we engage with South Bend beyond just service, even though service is good. How do we support small businesses? How do we meet the city where the residents are at and really help and foster the beautiful city that South Bend really is.
Brilliant. I agree with that. Tell us about your post-graduation plans, and what role Notre Dame has played in that journey for you.
Yeah, so eventually after graduation, I either want to work in healthcare administration, consulting, or policy. And the reason behind that is, there's a lot of, healthcare issues, especially with COVID, those really came to light. I want to work towards addressing accessibility, affordability, especially in light of sort of what we've seen with COVID-19. But even more so, the Notre Dame community has really helped kind of foster this passion that I have. I had the opportunity to work with, and I continue to work with, the Mendoza College of Business, which is where I major in business analytics. And I'm also working with some other multidisciplinary professors, but working towards figuring out, especially with Japan, how their healthcare infrastructure policy changed with the earthquake in 2011. And so that's really solidified my love for healthcare, seeing how Japan is handling their healthcare and seeing what things we can borrow, bring here to the United States and broadly back to my home country in Kenya.
Brilliant. Before we go, I want to talk about your history with Notre Dame Day. While you were president of Stamford Hall this fall, you led the dorm to the top of the pack in the residence hall giving. So tell us, how did you inspire your dorm community to get involved with ND Day, and what are the kinds of things that Stamford can do with the funding this time round?
Yeah, so the first thing is I didn't do it alone. I had an awesome mentor over in the development team. I had an awesome vice president, Michael Babikian, and that all really helps foster this feeling of community and culture that we have here at Stanford Hall of what we call Big Stanford love, really reaching out, make sure we can impact everyone that we could. The incentives that we had as a dorm is, one, we offered to shave our heads. The hair's back now, but it wasn't once upon a time. We also offered to let residents pie us in the face, which they did. And also from there, we gave them the opportunity to embarrass me in public. I had to walk around with a sign saying, "Will you marry me?" Until I found a person named Kate. And so they really worked to embarrass me, and that it helps foster a community, brought us together. And I'm able to say now we actually won Hall of the Year. And I'm so grateful for the team that I had behind me to really foster this community. So grateful for that. And before I even go, I want to say big shout out to Stanford Hall. So for ND Day, please get to Stanford Hall, but also some clubs that I'm a part of. Iron sharpens iron and accessible. But thank you so much for having me here today.
Amazing. What an inspiring young man you are. Thank you so much, Allan. Appreciate it.